Hello friends, and welcome to our channel on the Great Saints. And the story today is on Our Lady of Good Success, one of the greatest apparitions, speaking about modern times, but from 400 years ago. She was predicting things we can see exactly happening to today. And this version is given to us by a Sister Bernadette Clare. And she says, in the convent of the Immaculate Conception in Quito, Ecuador, there is the statue of the Virgin Mary. It's a unique statue and it is little known by people. The story with the statue began in the end of the 16th century. And there was a Mother Mariana de Yeso Torres. When she was just 13 years old, together with 6 other sisters, they arrived in Quito, Ecuador from Spain, and they were going to found a Conceptionist convent right there in Quito. That convent still exists. And Mother Mariana, of course, was the main person who received all of these visions, these apparitions. And curiously enough, this is interesting, the foundresses, all 6 of them, their bodies remain incorrupt even to today. Even from a young age, Mother Mariana had lived a very active mystical life. She'd received apparitions and visions from Our Lady. This further on in the story, in her life, the Virgin Mary asked her, please, to have a statue made of herself, as she was seen in this apparition, and it was to be under the title Our Lady of Good Success. And what she said about this particular image, which we can see here on this book, is that when tribulations of spirit and sufferings of body oppress people, you and I, and we seem to be drowning in a bottomless sea, then let us gaze at this holy image of hers, which will be for them a star for the shipwrecked. Those are Our Lady's words. So of course, a well-known artist was commissioned now to create this statue, sculpt the image. And then one night when Mother Mariana was praying, she saw angels in the church flying up into the choir. And the statue at that point was still incomplete. The artist arrived the next morning and he was absolutely amazed to see that the image was now complete, but not just complete, it was magnificent. He stood in awe of the image, and he quite willingly, right there and then, drafted a letter. He signed the letter affirming that he had not been the one to finish the image. And from that time, the Bishop of Quito, a Salvador de Ribera, certified that a miracle had in fact taken place. But the story goes on from there. Under this title, the Virgin Mary chose to give many messages to the world through this Mother Mariana de Yeso Torres. And from the start, both the revelations of Our Lady of Good Success and the devotion to her miraculous statue received the support of the Catholic Church and the bishops of Quito. Among the writings of Mother Mariana, what really stands out most is the mention of a worldwide crisis, both in the Church and in society. These are her words. Thus I make it known to you that from the end of the 19th century and from shortly after the middle of the 20th century, so though she's talking about these times from 400 years earlier, there will be a total corruption of customs, for Satan will reign almost completely by means of the secret societies, the secret sects, as she called them. And I've heard other YouTube channels mention the name stonecutters, so they don't get cut short themselves. So, according to her, that's what's behind it all. Now, shortly after the middle of the 20th century, let's look at what was happening in the world and the church right then. Well, of course, the sexual revolution was just erupting within society. So, any sexual restraint was thrown off. And the church was celebrating in the Vatican Council this new time of letting air in through the window. And unfortunately, the Fatima secrets were not revealed either. Many of the prophecies of Our Lady of Good Success have already been fulfilled. So it kind of proves this whole apparition. And she prophesied, for instance, that the proclamation of the dogmas, there were two dogmas, the Immaculate Conception and papal infallibility, that they would be declared. And also that that Ecuador would be consecrated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus by the president of the time, and that he would be martyred, and that he was truly a Christian soul, in Our Lady's words. Undoubtedly, the president they spoke of was a Garcia Moreno, man of great faith and convictions. He pulled his country out of both moral and material poverty. And it was the first country, Ecuador was the first country to be consecrated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And as a result of this, the conspiracy developed, the same secret societies, and he was assassinated right there on the square outside this convent. Our Lady of Good Success also had these prophecies and warnings. She said that this secret sect, the secret society, would achieve the perversion of children. In her words, the passions will erupt and there will be a total corruption of customs, for Satan will reign almost completely by means of the secret sects, the stonecutter sects. And they will focus principally on the children in order now to sustain this general corruption. Her words, woe to the children of these times, it will be difficult to receive the sacrament of baptism and the sacrament of confirmation. Having taken possession of all social classes, she continues, the sect will also, with subtlety, now introduce itself right into the domestic homes, into the middle of the homes, and there pervert the children, and the devil will glory, she said, in feeding on the exquisite delicacy of children's hearts. So something absolutely grotesque. In those fateful times, childish innocence will be hardly found, and thus vocations to the priesthood will be lost, which will be a real calamity, Our Lady of Good Success tells us. So, with such a good mother as her, what do we have to fear? And let us go forward in confidence, loving our Lord, loving His mother.